Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome to a best of 5 between, in the bottom left, Serral spawning as our red Zerg player. And in the top right as our blue Protoss playing for Alpha X. It is Zoun. In a best of 5 series here, Serral opens up with a pool first, allowing him to get the hatchery down on the natural. So what happened here is he faked downstairs that he was going to a third base most likely. Then build a pool in the main base, and it just got the hatchery down at the timing where he exactly wanted it. Yes, he did end up playing pool first, but because the hatchery isn't further away, it's probably just going to be fine. On top of that, pool first requires a response from the Protoss player as well. It requires the Protoss player to, in this case, go for a core before the Nexus. And I've seen some people even open up with a Zealot. I don't think that's going to happen here, especially given the fact that it's only going to be a single pair of links. So 2 links that will make his way across the map. Oh my god, we're actually getting a Zealot. I think this is an error, pretty sizable error at that even. We'll have to wait and see how else Zoun is going to follow up. But when I think about a build order like this, the follow-ups are very, very limited here for our Protoss player. I mean, you just have low gas count. Okay, Zealot is going to get cancelled last second. Instead, we're seeing an attack. Well, like that. Well, the links are gonna get in, that's for sure. We have Warp Gate on the way, so Stargate is just going to be simply impossible to get a Stargate down at somewhat of a normal timing. You could still build it now, but a standard timing for a Stargate is 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Like, if you were to get it right about now, you'd get it legitimately 17, 18, 19 seconds too late. So that is probably not that worth it. Ling in the main base is trying to fight. That pylon gets surrounded by 3 probes and will go down. At the same time, this probe is being forced towards the far left as this adept is moving into position to perhaps go and deal some damage. Trying to run by a queen is not going to work out. Is there any links in the main base? There are no links in the main base right now, allowing this adept to potentially deal some real damage here. 1 worker not quite going to die as a spore gets forced. Second spore is going to get forced as well over here. See a decent chunk of damage on this adept. Is Serral moving in position to deal with this? No, not quite. Adept is going to escape. At least for now. 2 links moving in. Will not get the kill on this adept, I don't think so. 8 HP remaining. Oh, 4 HP remaining. There we go. As the adept survives. Whew, that was a little bit close. But it actually did go into a Stargate here. This Stargate was so insanely delayed. It also did get scouted by Serral, so Serral is aware of what his opponent's stack is. And on top of that, the attack is going to be extremely late. No real damage has been dealt here by Zoun. I honestly really like the spot that Serral is in currently. Twilight Council as our follow-up. Pre-third base is an interesting build order. It's a build order we don't see a whole lot anymore. It's a build order that used to be more popular in the past. At least from, from what I'm aware of. Ooh. Okay, even going 4 gate before Nexus. Now, this actually is kind of funny, kind of interesting in a way. The only reason why this build is allowed to be played is because Zoun had such a wonky early game. So usually Serral would look at this third base timing and say to himself, hey, why is there no third base yet? 4 minutes and 20 seconds in. And usually he'd say, well, it has to be like a Twilight or extra gateways being added. But in this case, because the early game was so weird, Serral might look at this third base timing and think to himself, oh, Zoun just had a bad early game, right? Like, he was forced to build a core before Nexus. He had a late second gas. He's just struggling here. And I think actually that's what's happening here. Roach Warren's being thrown down 4 minutes and 40 seconds into this game. Twilight Council is desperately trying to chrono boost out these glaive adepts. This looks intense. There's no Oracle as a follow-up, so only a single Stargate unit usually does indicate some type of attack. These gates definitely do want to start warping in pretty soon. Can't do it right in the face of your opponent. There's a lot of glaives here. A lot of glaive adepts. 11 adepts. What's the larva count? At 5? Do we have the ability to wall? Yes, there is an ability to wall. Triple Evo, I think. We'll definitely finish that. Queen's moving into position immediately. Another spore is about to be done here. It's only going to be 11 adepts. 11 adepts against... Oh, this is plenty of queens. This is what, 6 queens? a lot of links as well to kind of tank initially, force these adepts into a position where they don't want to go. Good Evo chamber positioning here, coming out of Serral with a quick wall. That means that these adepts will not be capable of dealing the damage that they probably wanted to, as a lot of them will end up going down. Evo chamber wall gets cancelled. Queens still fit through. The roaches don't fit through, or no, do fit through. I was gonna say that would be really unfortunate and also quite weird. Queen is obviously a lot fatter than roaches. No offense to the queens, of course, but a little bit of Weight Watchers wouldn't hurt them. Yeah, this is just a regular wall, like a one hex wall, so most units can walk through it except for the Archon, until the next patch at least, from what I can recall. Zoun's follow-up will be a Robo Bay, Immortals, Blink. Kind of feeling a Disruptor follow-up here, honestly, out of Zoun. Is one of the things that he's very keen on. It's one of the things he's quite good with as well, these Blink Stalker Disruptor builds. In general, I feel like his aggression off of 2, 2.5, 3 bases is really what sets him apart from the other cosplayers. He has his own little playstyle, and we'll have to wait and see if Serral's going to be capable of stopping that. 4th base is about halfway done here for Serral. It's getting a Spire, it's getting double Evo upgrades. I mean, why not? You have them anyway. But this cheesy little build that Zoun did here, this 4-gate glaze off of a single Stargate unit, it just didn't work out, right? It did not deal the damage he wanted to deal, just didn't get done what he wanted. Now we have more and more gateways coming in. We already have 4 done, with 3 more on the way. That's going to bring the total up to 7. First Disruptor pops out, 4th base coming in. I'm a huge fan here of these adepts. Now, this type of adept move really only works if you opened up with a Void Ray, because otherwise there's just going to be an Overlord here, there's going to be an Overlord here, most likely Overlord in this position. But because of that early Void Ray, and the fact that a Void Ray is still alive, sending out Overlords is a death sentence for any Overlord. And thus Serral is not going to do that. He wants to keep his Overlords alive majority of the time. Spore is going to be constructed. Here's ground weapons level 1 finishes up. Prism is on the way. You have a couple of sentries. Not that many force fields yet. I think we're probably just working with 4, 5, 6-ish. 6-ish force fields. Soon to be maybe 8 or maybe even 10. It's definitely going to be helpful. The first 10 Mutalisks right now are being pumped out. How ready is Zoun really for those Mutalisks is an interesting question to think about. Because we see, yes, there is Blink. Yeah, we have a cannon in at least one of the bases. A battery in semi-decent position in the natural as well. But it's really going to depend what angle the Mutalisks decide to fly in. Like, if these Mutalisks get spotted before they get anywhere, which they definitely do right now, I think this might just be fine for Zoun. I would love for Zoun to just head back home the moment he sees these Mutalisks. Like, hey, wait a second. If I just set up properly here and don't take any damage against the Mutas, my opponent is going to have an army that consists of Mutalisks. And Mutalisks are not actually that good at fighting. They're good at harassing. They're good at creating chaos, as you work in a different dimension than just ground, which makes it really difficult. But yeah, I do believe that these Mutas are not going to be dealing so much damage right now. 3-4 workers being taken out. Oh, see, that's all drones so far. Not a single probe has come down quite yet. This is a lot of supply here for Zoun. No Ravagers at all in this army. That means that the Banelings are just going to bump into the force field like a bunch of idiots. And idiots are not great against the Protoss army, because the Protoss army is made out of very high IQ units. Mutalisks don't manage to deal the damage either, and it feels like Serral is actually just about to die here. Not having any Ravagers in this defense was a huge error. Banelings just died without really achieving anything before this fight. These 7 Banelings could have done something, but they didn't. Now we're going to get a couple of connections, but I'm not so sure if it's going to be enough. Muta, it was just a terrible investment as well. How many have we lost of those? 10 Mutas have gone down in total right now. Ravagers trying to connect with the Biles, not quite happening either. Still a lot of worker supply for Serral, still a decent amount of supply in general. As long as the Disruptor count doesn't continue growing, it might just be okay. +2 is around the corner, decides to fight off creep. 3 + 2. A couple of force fields are going to help out this Stalker Sentry army. None of the Biles will get to connect. And once again, I think Zoun just manages to survive. Next Purification Novas are going to be ready right now. That's a bit of a wild move forward, but going to keep himself alive. Here comes a Purification Nova. Gets a connection with 3 Ravagers, a bunch of Morphing Banes as well. Next Purification Nova not going to hit anything whatsoever. And for now, I think Zoun just needs to play it. So play around this ramp until the next Disruptor shots are going to be available. Banelings get connections with Stalkers, but do not quite get the kills here, as the backbone of Serral's army has pretty much disappeared. There's nothing left here, just a couple of Ravagers, no tanking ability whatsoever without that many Queens left alive. Next few Purification Novas could be game-changing. Well, that's just going to hit a single Baneling, not quite the game-changing Purification Nova I was looking for. One more is available. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Gets 2 Ravagers, that's big enough, says Serral as he leaves the game. Zoun up 1-0 in a game where his early game went terrible, but Serral throwing away so many resources into those Mutas. Spire costing, what is it, like 400 resources, then 2k in the Mutas as well, and really not achieving anything whatsoever. Like, taking out 6-7 workers, definitely not enough. And once again, basically a fake fort base here for Zoun with a massive push out is going to secure the bag for him. And Serral will need to play a little bit better in that next game. Game number 2 over here on Cosmic Sapphire with a cheeky quick block once again coming out of Zoun. This time will be successful. No early pool openers coming out of Serral. Serral, a player that whenever he tends to lose with a build order, doesn't quite want to repeat it within the series anymore. Especially if it's something fancy like that. A little cheeky pool first. Despite that pool first really, honestly, I think paying dividends in the early game last time around. So just realized I have the score completely incorrect. I'm so used to Serral winning every single game that if I have to set up the score, I just automatically give the points to Serral. It's really rare that he does end up losing, especially against Protoss players. It's been a little while since I've seen him actually get destroyed. But it is the strength of Zoun. He's been playing like this for a while. He's like kind of has like 2 modes, I kind of want to say. He has like the Stargate into like your charge lot type of build order. These builds are fun, they're good, and you know they really have some potential. But I think his main strength really is with these more Blink Stalker Disruptor focused builds. Like if he initially starts with charge, he still likes to go into Disruptors, but the aggression just starts so much later that it gives the Zerg a lot of time to set up basically anything that they want. And yeah, I'm kind of scared here that Zoun might just decide to go into that type of play. So he's once again gonna open. Ooh, never mind. I was gonna say he's gonna open up with a Stargate here, but instead it's going to be a robotics facility. Robotics facilities are beautiful, as they allow you to build Disruptors very quickly, which, as mentioned before, is my favorite unit for Zoun. Beautiful animation on that robotic facility. One of the things I think about StarCraft 2 that is so great is that the graphics, I think, still look very good. Despite the game being, what, 12 years old right now, never really getting any graphical updates, the game just looks nice. You know, it looks tight. It's not the most advanced graphics, but just there's so much detail in everything, and I really appreciate that. Textures look nice, map assets look really good as well majority of the time. Huge fan of the way everything looks, and you can there's certain mods and certain tools that allow you to zoom in even further, and you can really showcase the detail that goes into every single unit. It's very, very cool. We have now this Adept trying to get a kill. I think it got 1 drone kill or one link kill, forced out a Spore as well. Adept, Stalker, Adept. Straight into Robo-Bay. Don't mind it. Don't mind it at all, actually. Kind of in love with this build. Fast Observer. Now, the problem with this Observer is that you want it to be on the other side of the map. But at the same time, you don't want it to get spotted until, you know, it's time to show its face. The reason for that is the moment a Zerg player scouts this Observer, they know they don't need the fast spores against a DT drop, or the fast spores against any type of oracle, or even wait, what is this? Second cast, or even get that many units, because you know it's not going to be glaives either, because it's such a quick robo. So I'm just going to be paying some attention here to Serral. Oh wait, he just saw the prism, but this is not that weird of a timed prism. This could just be a regularly timed prism. Serral is going up to 45 workers already. Actually, going up to 48. He is already at 45. So here we're seeing 2 disruptors being morphed. What's in the prism? Is it just a stalker? Oh, it actually is just a stalker. So it's using a single stalker to deal with overlords. There used to be a build order where you would warp in like 3 stalkers, or and you already had 1 stalker. You just go sniping overlords. Something that I haven't actually seen in a very long time. Would be a pretty cool build to just throw out there again, I guess. So now we're seeing a... This feels like a fake third almost. It's going to be taken off of 4 gates. It isn't necessarily a fake third though. This could still be real. It just doesn't feel real. Colossus? If we were to build a Colossus right now, it definitely isn't real. Like, we have no extra workers coming in. Yeah, okay, Colossus, there we go. This is real but fake at the same time. Huge fan of this build order already. We see +1 melee being researched here for Serral. So Serral is kind of buying it, adding more and more drones. Ideally, I think, as a Zerg, you stop on, what, 58-ish drones. Double disruptor shots. Going to connect with, well, honestly, not all that much. Killed 1 roach, killed a creep tumor. It's not the greatest haul that disruptors ever have had in their life, that's for sure. So we have 4 more gates on the way right now. Still no extra workers in production. Wonder if he's gonna cancel it or still let it finish. I think in this case, actually letting it finish is just better, because it kind of forces the Zerg to be more careful about losing his own bases. It means that eventually, if you force the Zerg to be on 3 base forever and you're trading well with your disruptors, you're going to be okay-ish. Now, it's just going to stick actually with this. It's going to be 2 disruptors, 1 Colossus, and then a straight-up all-in. We have the Observer out, which is going to allow a lot of these creep tumors to be spotted, and thus less speed for all of the units that are in the Zerg army. Glial reconstitution is really important. Of course, allowing Serral to dodge these disruptor shots a little bit easier. This is a powerful all-in move, though. This really is. We have a 3rd disruptor being built behind it. 2 Ravager and a Roach being killed instantly. No split coming out of Serral there. Very, very mediocre micro to start with. +1 has been cancelled on melee. Would love to maybe see it start on range. These types of builds often last a little bit longer than you initially anticipate. Because of the disruptors. Oh no, can't lose these disruptors. They really are the only thing keeping this push alive, because the actual damage output of this army isn't that large. The reason why you want that many Stalkers is so you can kind of defend your disruptors until they get their next shot available. And Stalkers just work really well in combination with force fields too. So we just kind of see this rotation from bottom to top, waiting for well, some of the creep to disappear. That's gonna hit. This is going to hit as well. Serral is not microing this very well whatsoever right now in this game. Look at the resources lost here. Yes, 1 disruptor went down, and that is a pity, but that was a huge disruptor shot that just got the connection. We have a run by here, as the battery isn't quite covering the mineral line. This is a weird build order here out of Zoun, but it seems to be working out. He's played this build a lot before, but just with 6 gates and truly off of 2 base. You hit harder, but you don't have that 3rd base behind it, which feels like it forces Serral into doing things that maybe he rather wouldn't. We have another disruptor on the way. How many have we lost already? 2 disruptors have gone down, so the total amount of disruptors could be 4. And ideally, as a Protoss player, you're continuously increasing your disruptor count, because if that is what is happening, the Zerg eventually will just get a worse army. They'll need to go into Banelings, a lot of Banelings, but without creep that can be tricky. Or they'll need to get into Vipers, but if you're on 61 workers and you're struggling to stay alive, the Viper is not a unit that you can just kind of poop out fast. You need to go into the hive, you need to get energy as well. It's very gas heavy, it's difficult to get to in general. I wouldn't mind seeing 1 or 2 rounds of workers just to slightly increase the income here. Feels like going just up to like 52, 54 workers or so, especially given the fact that the main base is running out, would really give a massive boost here to the mineral income for Zoun. This is an interesting fight as Serral tries to break this spot. You have a Colossus that's dealing out a lot of damage. Look at these disruptors. We have 5 kills, 3 kills, and 1 kill. This Colossus has 19 kills already. Sentry with the Guardian Shield. Also, Sentry has 8 kills. That is honestly kind of wild. Big disruptor shot going to connect with one of the roaches, and that is a good enough disruptor shot. It's not about always getting 12 roaches, but if you get 1 roach every time you shoot a shot, and your disruptor gets to stay alive for 8-9 shots, that is a very efficient disruptor, and that's what we're seeing here in the resources lost as well. Serral now trying to jump on top of this army. No more Purification Novas are available. This has been a constant fight for the past 3.5 minutes. I'm not so sure who this fight is actually... Who's winning this fight currently? who's favored in this engagement? I'm just not so sure. We have another Disruptor coming in right now. It's going to be Disruptor number 4. That's basically going to allow Zoun to continuously have one active Purification Nova. That is a huge deal in these situations. This is a thermal lens-less Colossus, by the way. This is a Colossus that I don't think should be dealing as much damage as it is currently. 22 kills already. Good control out of Zoun here, moving back and forth, sends in a Purification Nova once more, has full-on vision with his Observer as well, which is just so darn useful. 9 kills, 7 kills, 1 kill for Disruptor. Are you coming? Yes, you're coming over. 5th Disruptor on the way as well right now. Oh, a couple of Stalkers will end up dying. Resources lost is staying pretty close to one another, or at least pretty close to what it always was. Last few fights have been okay for Serral. The thing is that Serral isn't outmining his opponent by that much. He's outmining his opponent, sure, but it isn't much more than 500-600 minerals a minute. Here we go. Colossi absolutely mowing through these links right now, getting 2-3 kills every single swipe he has. So many Disruptors here in his army right now. The funny thing is that initially you want the Ravagers, but the moment the Disruptor count starts growing, you actually want to get more and more links and more Banelings. We also have that melee upgrade, of course. 1, 2, 3 Disruptors end up going down here. That was a very good trade right away for Serral. So he comes in with a bit of a, well, not a bit of a flank, that's a huge flank. Potentially game-ending flank here. The Ravagers move forward. The Disruptors are going to get broken. I saw an Infestation Pit building and finishing up. There is plenty of gas available right now to just get into a hive as well. But Zoun isn't having any of it. He says, hey, I still have a lot of units. I still have my Colossi with 53 kills currently. Which is just moving back and forth, shooting, swiping, taking out these links. Oi, oi, oi. So many swipes. This Colossus is a Tinder addict. Melee attacks level 2 about to finish up though, and that could potentially bring some doom and gloom to the third base of Zoun. If a couple of Banes manage to make their way on the map and connect with these workers, I mean, that's going to be a huge blow here for Zoun, who isn't mining all that much anymore. He's mining off of 16 mineral patches. He has the perfect mining setup for those mineral patches, I'll have to admit that, but I mean, if you lose 16 workers right now, that would not be it, my friend. 7 more Banes are on the way, are being rallied across the map. Yep, there we go. That has some real potential. 158 against 126. Disruptor's actually getting huge connections here. What's that? 10, 0, 17 kills. 17 kills, 55 on this Colossus. Yes, majority is Links and Banes, but still, it is a pretty big deal. He also dealt a lot of damage, of course, in Splash to Roaches, to all those other Links that did not end up dying to his massive swipes. Here come the Banes with +2, are going to take out every single worker over here at the third base. 31 workers remaining for Serral, or for Zoun, excuse me. As another Purification Nova comes in. Oh my god, a lot of Ravagers going down. The splits out of Serral have not been great, but I still believe it's going to be good enough with this Surround, with all of those sentries going down, with every single probe falling. This chase is a little bit much, but Serral does pull back. Huge Disruptor shot once more. As this Colossi is moving up to very close to 100 kills right now. Love for that Colossi to hit the 100 kills. Just shows how much damage one unit can really do over the course of a game. It's absolutely bananas here. 17 kills, 4 kills on these Disruptors. We have another one with 7 kills here. A lot of that's going to be Ravagers as well, as he takes out 2 more Ravagers and a Ling. Army supplies really, really close. As it feels like Serral's actually struggling a little bit. I'm not so sure what happened, but Serral must have lost a couple of workers as well. Still outmining his opponent pretty significantly at this point. 5th base is on the way. More and more Ravagers are dying. +2 on melee still available. But he keeps sending in those Links, and those Links keep dying to this Colossus. Feels like we really need a Link flank if you want to engage with the Links. Can't just straight up move in like Serral has been doing for the past few minutes. Every single time that happens, he just loses some Links to the Stalker shots. Oh, poof! Nice, 2 Ravagers right there that go down straight away. That's going to be another Ravager. No, just a lot of Links. It's a bloodbath over here next to that hatchery. Drones get to evacuate. 1700 gas in the bank. Still no hive. Still no Vipers coming out. It's obvious to me that 1 or 2 Vipers, just 1 Viper, would have been an absolute game changer here, because it puts the pressure on the Protoss to start attacking into you. And these Disruptors, they do not have the infinite life in that case. These shots are absolutely massive. We have this Colossus right now with, what is it, 99 kills. Almost in the triple digits here, as I think Zoun is almost doing it right now. Yes, there's still more army supply currently for Serral, and yes, Serral still has the better upgrades, but Zoun just has so many units alive that are here already. Feels like half of the time, like 30% of Serral's army is just in production. All of these Roaches, all of these Ravagers that need to morph continuously. Here we go, 3 Ravagers going down against a single Disruptor shot. There's 1 Disruptor left right now, and that is going to be it. If that Disruptor dies, this game ends in favor of Serral, but there's still time. There's still time for Zoun. He needs a good shot. The shot is going to be available in about 5-6 seconds from now. It's going to need to hit big. It's going to need to hit very, very big. 11 more Roaches on the way. Colossi still on 99. Disruptor coming in. Gets a connection. Is it a good enough connection? I'm not so sure. Queen dies. Colossi dies with 100 kills here. And I think that Serral has done it in the end. GG gets called. Feels like the +2 melee was really, really good in certain stages of the game, and after that felt like a waste, because let's take a look at just the units lost here. Look at that. 48 Roaches have gone down, 45 Ravagers have gone down, and only 33 Banelings. And I don't actually believe that Lynx contributed very much with attack damage. Most of them were just really tanking. Feels like going maybe for range upgrades would have been a superior solution, or investing that money into a Hive and Vipers. It will not matter, as Serral managed to win game number 2 anyway, but still, it is definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. Game number 3 is going to be played over here on Tropical Sacrifice, as we have a, seems to have been some type of block here on the natural, and a quick Stargate coming out of Zoun. So switching back to what he did in game number 1 with those faster Stargates seems to be the preferred method. I just love that build order that he did in the last game, though. Absolutely do love it. Seems like it has so much potential as well in a lot of different ways. I mean, you have the initial fake with the 4 gates, with the faster third base. Like, it's still a pretty quick third base. You can probably add some damage in there, some Overlord denial with Stalkers initially as well. I think 1 Stalker might have been a little bit low. There's so many opportunities to transition into standard play, just into like Blink Disruptor, and also to go for this type of push with that Colossi. That was extremely useful. I'm kind of sad that Zoun ended up losing that game. I always love it when there's a cool build order and someone kind of gets caught off guard. I love it when it works. It just feels really good. And Serral definitely did get caught off guard a little bit, as this Adept is going to shade back. Right next over this female Karak, who's just peacefully bopping about, or whatever the movement is they do with their head. Feels like they're eating a whole lot, these female Karaks. So we have an Oracle coming in. It's a drone that's gonna get cancelled. Perhaps go for a another larva. No, doesn't want to do that quite. Man, Sir Cocoons have so much HP. That's actually crazy. Wait, do they actually have 20? Good lord. That is actually a crazy amount, no? That's a crazy amount of HP. Holy crap. This is really fast for Twilight, by the way. And I think this is going to go into the build that we have seen a lot out of Zoun in the past. And honestly, he's been playing the same style for what feels to me, like a bit of a... what was I gonna say? I actually completely lost my train of thought there, in the middle of the sentence. That's very wild to happen. Oh, I never know where that sentence is gonna end. Honestly, that's the case with most of my sentences. I'll start saying words, and then usually midway through I figure it out, but yeah, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing there. What I do want to say about his style is that he's been playing it for a while, and it feels like often with it, it is very reliant on the Zerg making wrong reads, really. Oh, no, this is different. This is going to be Blink. I prefer this. I've mentioned it before already here in this video, but I prefer his Blink styles over his Charge Lot styles. It just feels like he is better with it. This time, though, it might actually go into a really quick forward bay. No, what? It's a proxy gate. It actually is going to be a proxy gate. Oh, wow. I was like, wait, you're building so many gateways and we're not seeing a robotics facility yet. Like, what's the grand play here, you know? Like, what are we doing? And apparently it's going to be a proxy 7 gate, I think? 58 workers. Significant worker count here. We have stalkers warping in. Serral is not aware of this quite yet. Has vision on the potential fort base. And we have 3 roaches on the way already. This potentially could be very dangerous. It really could be. I'd love to see a fort behind it. I'm not entirely sure why we're taking a 5th gas here, but... well, it is what it is, I guess. It's not the end of the world, that's for sure. We have double oracles moving across the map right now. Serral on 66 workers producing a lot of units right now. Sees the complete lack of a fort base. Sees the lack of a 6th gas as well. Is not even aware of the 5th gas. And it's just going to produce unit after unit after unit after unit. And here come the stalkers with their +1 finishing soon as well. So far only 7 stalkers, but more of course on the way. Cheeky lift here on the queen. Adepts are going to get cancelled. Stasis ward. Oh, don't quite think that Serral spotted that. 4 roaches are going to be stuck there. This bad boy can blink away. Is going to blink into the wall. Basically a force field of roaches here. Another lift with this phoenix on the queen. Going to be quite useful. Double oracle phoenix build. Didn't even quite realize there was a phoenix up until this point basically. As feels like this all-in is kind of working, no? There's not that many roaches remaining. More links need to come in. Queens are running out of transfuse at this point as well. Stasis ward's going to trigger. These links will not be capable of taking out the pylon, that's for sure. 111 supply against 125. Roaches turning into Ravagers. That's a very big moment because that allows Zoun to actually start dealing more damage. There's simply not enough DPS right now in Serral's army. Ravagers are finishing up as we speak. Oh, good dodges out of Zoun. Doesn't really get hit by any of these piles as the fort base will get taken out. And that means that the only unit that is currently upgraded for Serral will not be the majority unit anymore, I think. I think you're not going to be capable of getting enough larva out to continuously produce Zerglings. So far, it seems like the injects have been pretty much picture perfect. And thus, Serral is definitely possible of doing that. But he should be starting to float a little bit of money. Maybe you want to get some Banelings in to kind of stop that problem. I love how he's playing this with those links in the back. Maybe he could even go for a kill on those pylon. No, not yet at least. I'm just waiting for a surround to happen. I think this pylon is fascinating because it's so out in the open. You can definitely just counter it by right-clicking that pylon. Here we go. Serral moving in. Pylon is going to end up falling, I do think. So Gateway's being taken down as well at a very rapid pace. That means that Zoun right now is going to be supply blocked. 62 workers against 67 in favor of Serral. That's a lot of gas in the bank. At this point, you'd almost want to consider a Spire. And with +1 melee already done and +2 melee, what, 70-ish% finished as well. I'm actually loving this position here for our Finnish Zerg players. Fort hatchery goes down in a line. And we have another hatchery in the main base here as well. 110 out of 136 seconds. And this is a game changer, right? This is such a key moment in the game, the moment +2 finishes, for a very simple reason. Any run by that looked somewhat dangerous before can now become game-ending immediately. I mean, you kill 15, 16 workers, the game probably just ends. On top of that, every attack that you do, before you can, you can kind of split your probes and probably be fine against a 4 Baneling attack that manages to split off into your mineral line. Now it's not going to be possible anymore. So your probe management is going to be extremely important in any type of defensive fight as well. +2 is just an absolute game changer, and we're seeing it here already being used, forcing all of these probes off the line immediately. Luckily, Zoun does manage to kill these Banes before they get the connections that they wanted. Follow-up here is going to be a Templar Archives as well as Charge. I would love to see him go up to 8 gases. And I wouldn't mind seeing a prism being constructed here, because I think a prism, if you have these 8 gateways, is just going to be very, very useful. Stalker count is still absolutely massive at 33. I am a fan of that, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm not sure if with a pure Stalker army you can win. There's so much gas in the bank, it feels like Storm is pretty much a no-brainer. Yeah, there we go. Indeed, it's going to be Storm. I do like that a lot. I like a lot of the strategies here that Zoun is showcasing. 2 more gates on the way. It's not being used as a wall, which is somewhat confusing and maybe even a little bit frustrating. A bunch of these Banelings are going to be taken out. Good recall here on these Zealots. Is going to save, well, 3 of them. Thought it was going to be 5 or 6, but it's just going to be 3 that managed to get back home. Serral, though, late into this hive. I'm not so sure if he can get anything of value out before a mech storm push with +2 is going to hit. Yes, there's not going to be a lot of Archons, but there's also not that much creep. There's also not... No, actually, no, there's a lot of Banelings. Never mind. Oh, that's actually a lot of Banelings. And there's a possibility to build more with the gas bank. We're seeing a Hydra then, so Lurker will be the follow-up here. Definitely some real potential here for a +2 push, though, out of Zoun. That's for sure. Usually what you want is you want as many Templar as you can and as many Archons as you can. And I just don't really see that many Archons here right now. I see plenty of Templar, but the Archon count is not high enough. And that could really be an issue. That actually just is an issue. Couldn't just be one. It is one. Because if you have 7, 8 Archons with this push, this is going to be complete health. Oh my god! Huge storm there. Serral with a miss move command. Moves forward with these Banes. It's going to lose a lot of Banes for free here. Just earlier lost like 15. Now it's going to lose another 10, 12. That brings the Baneling count down to just a mere 23. Serral's feeling pretty broke right now. He's not maxed out. A lot of units still in production. Both Banes and Lynx. Stasis wards are being put down as well. How many storms do we still have available? It feels like there's at least 5, 6 storms still here. Stasis trap is going to connect with these Banes. This is a dead base, I think. Not so sure if Serral can actually end up holding this. There's so many Stalkers here. We get a good storm blink back of individual parts of Stalkers, meaning that these Templar are going to stay safe for now. This is going to work, and it's going to work in a beautiful way. Stalkers with their tanking ability are going to basically save these Templars again and again and again. There's still a lot of storms available. Very patient storm usage here out of Zoun. Good control into these aggressive pushes as well. Absolutely love this build order, love the game plan here in this game. Has a lot of cash in the bank, no 5th base yet, but I don't really think it's going to matter as he blinks forward into Ravagers. That can be a little bit risky, but this time it's going to be just fine. Serral taps out with a GG, and Zoun puts himself on match point. Here we go in game number 3. So we see a weird opener actually out of Serral. Wait, what was this? Wait, oh, this was like a 14 hatch. Wasn't it? This was indeed a 14 hatch. Look how fast it's finishing. I'm like looking at this opener and something just doesn't add up. First of all, we see no gas, which is odd. On top of that, the hatchery is like a solid 16 seconds faster. So the reason why Serral is playing a 14 hatch here on this map is really quite simple. It's really difficult to defend adept chrono boost on this map because it's already a really small map. Now, if your bases are split, the adepts are going to hit your base even quicker, which makes it even harder to deal with it. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate this little bit of innovation. The 14 hatch is something that I think we've seen a lot in the past, not so much recently. There's a Russian Zerg player that used to do it a lot called B, who right now is an Age of Empires 4 player, I do believe. And, ooh, he's going for the back base. Okay, this is gasless. This is a gasless build out of Serral. Wow. We never see this anymore in ZVP. Like, never, ever, ever. This is super rare. So, what a gasless build does is it delays gas for superior mineral income, which allows you to really, you know, kind of get everything boosted up. It was very common in Wings of Liberty, because in Wings of Liberty, there was only direct threats to the front. And I guess the same in Heart of the Swarm, it probably was pretty common. I can't quite recall it. Because, let's face it, Zealots and Stalkers are not quite as scary as Adepts. Against Adepts, you definitely need speed. Against Zealots and Stalkers, you just need 3 Queens and you can't really die anymore. So, nowadays it's just not really common because of early game Adept harass could just, you know, run circles around you, basically. Zoun is going to scout for that 3rd base. It's not going to find it. It's going to be a little bit confused. There's a possibility here that there's a misread out of Zoun. That he sees the lack of a 3rd base and says to himself, okay, I need a fast battery here. I am going to require a really quick battery. But it's not going to be the case. At least not yet. Do I have a second Adept coming out right now? It's going to be 3-gate Adept, 3-gate Glaive. Really a modern day classic. For a while played the 4-gate Glaive a lot, of course. And Then the 3-gate became more popular. Then the 4-gate was popular again. Now sometimes we see 3-gate into 6-gate. We see 3-gate into like Robo Bay. Every now and again we'll still see a Dark Shrine being used as well. Like, it is not as common, but it's still a playable build. Overlord heads in towards the main base. Prism as well over here. 4th gate is on the way. It's actually a weird timing for a 4th gate. Like, when is this going to kick in? It's gonna kick in after like 3 warp-in cycles. It's way too late, obviously. In general, this push is gonna hit insanely late. Oh, he's trying to hide the fact that he's doing it. I'm not entirely sure what this is. This feels like a really odd build order. It's hitting so late. It's 6 adepts at 450? It's gonna hit with 6 adepts at 450. There's no observer with this push yet. It's coming in. 3 more adepts get warped in. 9 adepts at 5 minutes into the game. Now, it's just way less adepts than you usually see. And now we see the Spore actually setting up. And this is something that Serral absolutely loves to do. He basically uses the Spore as a depot. He keeps it in the wall, so he can still walk through to the front. Can unburrow it. This was a good start here for Serral. This was a very good start for Serral, because he didn't take any damage whatsoever. He built roaches. He's going into Glial Reconstitution. Can get his +1 on his roaches as well. And at this point can just drone up to whatever drone count he wants. Should be looking at a 4th base at some point in the near future as well. I mean, with Glial done. These traits, they might not look brilliant right now for Serral, but it's actually completely fine. Because every adept that you shave off is an adept that can't really kill anything anymore. We have 6 more roaches on the way. Glial Reconstitution, well, still pretty far away. I thought it was done already, but roaches move so fast on creep, it's ridiculous. That needs to be nerfed. Roaches on creep without speed need to be slower. Is that what I said? Ooh, Observer actually gets sniped as well. Now the adepts get into the base, but what are you gonna do with that? There's so many roaches available. First Disruptor is already out, 2nd Disruptor is on the way. And we see Graphitic Drive being researched, the Warp Prism speed, of course. No 4th base yet for Serral is the one thing that we could look at and say, hey, that is actually kind of bad. You really needed a faster 4th base. And I think Serral kind of regrets that he didn't manage to sneak out a worker a little bit faster. He's gonna get it up at this point, but it's really, really late. Might even get a cancel here if he targets this correctly. Will not end up really targeting it fast enough. And thus, 1 adept will go down. 4 drones have fallen somewhere. I think this prism with the 2 adepts had something to do with that. New adept gets warped in as the disruptors are out. Blink being researched behind this as well. We could be seeing a very similar push coming out of Zoun as we saw in game number 2 with the massive disruptor count. You know, just continuously building more and more disruptors. We do not have a forge being built right now. Serral did spot the fact that there's a 3rd base. A lot of scout denial going on here. And with Graphitic Drive done, with 2 disruptors out, this is going to be an interesting push. Lots of units being produced though here for Serral. And the question is Serral going to be tricked into building more drones at this point? Like, his 4th is getting close to finishing up. Here comes the Prism. We're gonna see some damage at least. Ooh, there could have been bigger damage even. These drones were definitely vulnerable. We have 56 workers to 59, 5 more drones on the way immediately, just replacing the ones he lost. And we see an infestation pit. Despite this being a low eco game, I really do like this. It basically says, hey, there's now a timer on you, and a pretty sizable timer as well. The moment you're just going to do one of these slow pushes again, like you did on the Cosmic Sapphire game, I'm going to straight up win. Melee attacks finishes up before metabolic boost finishes, which is an extremely rare thing. That actually is extremely rare. That's like learning how to tie your shoelaces before you learn how to walk. I don't think there's a lot of kids that know how to do that. I feel like walking is there a little bit faster. I don't think I could tie my shoelace until I was like 5 or something. I was pretty slow with that. I had Velcro shoes for a really long time as well. Huge fan of them. God, I loved Velcro as a kid. Zip, zip, in and out, no problem. Bam. 4th base on the way. This definitely didn't work out there. The thing with these pushes is that you actually need to go for it. You can't push across the map, completely fail, and not continuously put on pressure, because your opponent is going to get up to an insane worker count. You just invested into a lot of units that fall off pretty hard, pretty quickly. Like, Serral could just go up to 82, 83, 85 workers. Actually, maybe even higher. I think Serral could go up to 92 workers right now without an issue. Another thing he could do is get Baneling speed and probably kill your fort base. So there's just a lot of things going on here right now where I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, well, this potentially could be really, really dangerous right now for Zoun. And it does feel like that is indeed the way. This is just dangerous. He's going to be out of position with the Prism that's running around doing cool things. Fort base most likely will get cancelled here. Both Purification Novas miss. These Banelings now start rolling in without the +2, without the Baneling speed, but with a Link flank coming in from the back, a lot of Stalkers will end up dying. Not a lot of them. All of them are going to end up dying. Disruptors getting blasted here as well. Where's that Prism with the extra Disruptors? I don't quite see it. Is it still on the other side of the map? No, it's flying back home right now, but Fort base is gone. 9 workers have gone down as well during this. We see more workers in production. We see Adrenal Glands coming in. +2 melee finishing up in a couple of seconds from now. And I am loving this position here for Serral. Serral up 70 supply. Did not take a whole lot of damage against it. Is already on his hive. And just a fantastic, fantastic game here for the young Finn. Vipers coming in, and that's probably going to just straight up seal the deal. The nail in the coffin. That the Zoun doesn't quite want yet. But I don't see a way for him to fight this. He can try to fight it, but there's no point, I think. There's actually no point. He'll need to get Templar. He'll need to get Storm. Because Disruptors by themselves are not good enough against such high link counts. But you also need Archons, because against high link counts, you know, you want some tanking ability. And right now there's none in this army. There's 1 Archon, a bunch of Zealots, and then the rest Stalkers. It's just simply not going to be good enough. Double Disruptor Prism is still trying to fly around, deal some damage. Here comes an Abduct. No, it's not quite going to connect. But these Vipers popping is going to be the basically the signal here for Serral saying, hey, I want to attack, I want to go for it, and I think I can kill you. Adrenal Glands 13 seconds away, that's a good split. The second one just runs away. Absolutely nothing hits there with those Purification Novas. Archon gets morphed, but this is it. GG gets called as Serral wins game number 4, ties up the series, and we'll be going to the rubber match in this best of 5. Game 5 between Zoun here in the bottom left of Data Sea. And Serral in the top right. Red Zerg still. Would you look at that? No hatchery on the regular location. Wait, no hatchery over here either. Means there's only one left. That's over here. Hatchery number 2 will be built on the line base. Not completely uncommon on Data Sea anymore, where a lot of Zergs say they struggle against glaive builds if they take the triangle due to this type of area, right? You move your adepts over here, walk in towards the third shade and towards the natural, then cancel 2 of them and drop them into the main base to deal some damage. Just makes life so much harder than it really should be, I think. And that's why a lot of them love getting this third base right now, just in case someone decides to open up with glaives. And Zoun, of course, a fantastic glaive player, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to end up happening here. We see a gas coming out of him. Pylon can inform us as to what his plans are. It's a pretty neutral one though. It's not that close to the edge, but it's also not like far in the back for hiding like a robotics facility. Often robotics facilities are hidden in the back. Twilights are sometimes hidden in the back. Most of the time Stargates are further towards the right side, if anything. Metabolic boost on the way immediately. As we have the drone transfer towards the third base. And from this point on out, you'll get 1 more drone that makes its way over there. Oh, maybe 2 more drones that make their way over there. From then on out, you just start rallying into your gas. Because it's really scary to transfer drones in between your main and your natural base if your natural's at your third location. So from here on out, you're either making links from your main base, overlords, or drones that you rally into the gas. These are the options, basically, what we're most likely going to end up seeing. Adept is staying home for now. Indeed going to be a Stargate. Okay. Don't mind it. So far the Stargate builds have definitely given a lot of success for Zoun. Was the last game a Stargate? I can't even remember. There was a Stargate there. don't think there was. No, it was a Twilight opener. So far won games with Stargate openers, lost games without Stargate openers, and now it's back to the Stargate. Not completely surprising, I guess. Opens up with an Oracle straight away. Double Adept, no Stalker. So he positions himself in between both the gateways to create a full wall. Oracle's going to get spotted immediately here by Serral. Also has a Ling, just to make sure there's no third base going up too fast. Surprised we're not seeing this Overlord being sacrificed to get some extra info. No workers being built right now. Is actually somewhat surprising when the Oracle makes its way in towards the third. Might be capable of cancelling that Spore. No, will not go for it. Instead tries to get some worker kills here, but 2 queens are in position. And this Oracle actually achieves pretty much nothing here. Oracle into Phoenix. Now we have seen this before on Tropical Sacrifice, where it ended going into Forge plus Twilight. Very interesting little opener. Into that 7-gate blink with the proxy. Eventually into Storm. And then winning the game with a massive Storm push. A lot of Stalkers with it as well. And a low Archon count. This is an Evo rush coming out of Serral. Rushing into that +1. Once again we have Forge into Twilight. No second Stargate, which is also of course a possibility. Don't forget that. Forge into Twilight is one of the follow-ups here, but there is many. You can go for a double Stargate, you can go for Fleet Beacon into Stargate as well, and then really get like carriers going or something along those lines. But that's not quite what Zoun is doing here. No, Zoun is opting for Cheeky Spore, Cheeky Twilight Council, double Gateways. We'll have to wait and see what it's going to be. 4 Adepts try to shade in. Not quite sure if they're going to be capable of doing exactly what they want, which is probably kill workers. Double Oracle fly through in towards the natural. Could definitely get some kills here. There's only 1 queen. It's not even in that great of a position. These Adepts try to shade back home. Get to see the Oracles in action right about now. 2 queens in the main. Not completely in position either. That means that 2, 3, 4 workers will end up falling, but so will this Oracle. Painful loss for Zoun. Not quite what he signed up for, at least I don't think so. Templar Archives on the way already. Gases 5 and 6 haven't started yet. Do we have a robotics facility? No, we do not actually. That means that wait, what? Serral is going for a bust here, but this is a really weird build order. Oracle is at home. +1 isn't even done yet. And this is just simply not going to work. I think that Phoenix just spotted it. No, barely didn't. Wow, that's so close. Okay, now this Oracle is going to see it. Immediately will start targeting down things. There's just going to be an Archon available. And with the force fields as well, this super battery is going to help survive. Oop. Battery will die. Archon still alive though. Oracle still alive. Archon not even under any type of attack. 7 workers went down on the side of Zoun, but it's not going to matter at all. He held. He held. And he holds, and he will continue to hold. What a weird attack here out of Serral. And what a rare move out of him. He is not afraid of all-ins, but a lot of the time his all-ins are, well, how should I say, just a little bit more intelligent. Like you'll have these builds that tend to counter something. Here, I'm not entirely sure what this was supposed to counter. Maybe try to counter a player that was asleep or not scouting well. Don't forget that this was pretty much best case scenario for Serral as well against this specific build order, as there was no second Oracle anymore. One of the Oracles had already died. Now Serral's just going to be down in workers. Yes, he does have a forward base, which is nice, but layer is extremely delayed. Needs to go into +1 range before +2 melee. I'm loving this spot right now for Zoun. I'm wondering what his plans are going to be. So he could follow this up with just a straight up Charizard Archon push, but he could also decide to play it a little bit slower. Get the +2 going, get the Storm out, and then really start putting on the pressure with some type of Storm and +2 army. It's a real possibility, and it's something that we have seen in the past. We have seen it work. Another thing Zoun is kind of known for is throwing down a Robo Bay and massing out these Archons, then going into Disruptor. So yeah, we see a lot of Archons. So I'm expecting at least some type of aggression here. There's not going to be too many Roaches, which means that Archons are going to be the king of the battlefield. They're really the only counter that Zerg has in these early stages of the layer attack is going to be Roaches. Hydras do okay as well. in high enough numbers against Archons, but majority of the time the Roach is just the unit of choice. Claio Reconstitution just now starting, +2 starting at a very similar time, and indeed it is going to be a Robo Bay here for Zoun. That does give Serral a little bit of time to try and come back into the game, but I actually think that Zoun is underestimating his position currently. I don't think he quite understands how far ahead he is. He could either be teching way faster, like I'm talking straight up teching into carriers at this point, right? After such an insane early game, why not? Just get your storm out, tech into carriers, take a 5th base, and go for it. You can still probably retain map control during all of it as well, because let's face it, Serral just doesn't have the units. All you need to do is make sure that there's no hive on the way, and if a hive actually does start and ends up finishing, you just want to force out as many Banes as possible. I think that would be a very good plan, but for now, Zoun just completely content with how he is playing, as adding Storm in as well. I saw the Robo Bay. Did that get cancelled? No, it did finish up, but it's not going to get used here. Instead, it's just going to be Storm. Prism on the far right side of the map. We have this Oracle guarding this watchtower with 16 kills. We have 4 Zealots in the very far left side corner. Overseer moves in, is going to scout the fact that there was no carriers yet in production. That's probably a sigh of relief going through Serral there, because if there already were carriers in production, he would have been in some massive trouble right now. Doesn't even have bailing speed yet. You need so much gas as a Zerg player to get into those late game stages that the moment you're behind in the mid game already, it often becomes really difficult to get anything solid done. As the Prism is going to get spotted here right now by this Overlord. Do we still have the Phoenix alive? Yeah, we do. It's just guarding the middle for now, as the second Oracle will fall. And I think that Zoun is just setting up to push basically before Hive comes into play. I mean, he has his +2, he has his Storm. This is one of the options that I specified. It was like, hey, you either want to probably put on a lot of pressure with +1 and a bunch of Archons, or you want to tech into Storm and really start putting on the pressure with the +2. Want to probably get a 5th base behind this as well. And maybe could even consider a second Forge too. Now, there's no real hurry in this push, so ideally you take out the creep tumors as you're pushing in, wait for the creep to disappear, use your Zealots for run-bys, and then warp in more Archons. So you lose your Zealot supply and you increase your Archon supply. This actually was a pretty decent move out of Serral, but it's not quite going to work out, as 3-4 drones will fall on Serral's side, but actually no workers end up dying on the side of Zoun, who's still on 80 currently, is not teching up to +3. He's going to be happy. He's going to be content with the current worker count and with the current upgrade count as well. Ooh, that Templar is very far forward. Will get taken out by these Banes, by these Roaches. There's not all that many Archons here. Storm's coming in rather late as well. Will connect with a lot of the Banes in the end. 160 supply against 172. Roaches will fall over and die, as every single Templar is now out of Storm except for this bad boy. Still a lot of these Banelings around. 13 with +2 melee attacks, with that +1 carapace, but we also still have 7 Archons. 2 Immortals in the back will definitely help against the Roach count, as Queens are moving in forward to come out and try and help over here. 30 more Lings in production, no transfuses being used on some of these units, which means they die a little bit faster than they really should have. Serral struggling to stay alive though. What is the gateway count behind this? It's 11. That means that every single warp in is a massive threat here to Serral's life, and I think that Zoun, with his superior supply over here, is actually just straight up doing it. Blinks forward with the Stalkers, lifts one of the Queens. Queens are dying at a rapid pace. We have another 2 Zealots being warped in. 8 more Templar on the way, which means 4 Archons will come in to tank some of those Lings, to kill some of those Banelings. And I just don't quite see how Serral is going to survive over here. He's struggling so hard. Did not have Broodlords for this max push. Did not have sufficient forces either. And basically an all-in out of Zoun, let's face it. Very late 5th base, no +3 with this. He wanted to deal damage with it, and he did more than just a little bit of damage. He killed Serral, winning the series with a 3-2 score. Fantastic builds, almost no repeats here coming out of Zoun, showing that diversity within your build orders is so important in a best-of-5 format. Taking out Serral, wasn't the last time that... I don't think it's common for Serral to actually lose in this match. I'm just going to have a quick look here at his... It is illegal, because I can't quite recall that many losses, honestly. Like, when is the last time he lost anything like this? Like a best-of-5 against a TOS? Has to be a while ago. So yeah, here we are. This is against Protoss players in a best-of-5 plus format. And you see, Lost to Zoun at the Home Story Cup 22 main event. And before that, the last time, well, this was TSL 8. It's all wins, it's all wins, it's all wins. It's all wins. Okay, last time was against Trap on the 22nd of June in 2021. And he's played a lot of series since then. This is a rare occurrence. It is a rare occurrence for him to lose something like this. It was a little bit more common, I guess, in 2020, 2021. But that's a year and a half without losing a best of 5 against Protoss. That is extremely impressive. And that also is going to be it for me today. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.